Okay, I just wanted to welcome everybody and thank you all to everyone for joining me for tonight's webinar. As a matter of protocol, I'd like to acknowledge our former governor, Kathleen LaBelle, and she is with us this evening. Unfortunately, Marjorie Lavin called me earlier and is not able to participate. She's not feeling well, but she was scheduled to join us, and I know she's here in spirit. I would also like to acknowledge our current District 2 board, and you see the slide in front of you with the listing of all of those members of our board. We have so many special people in our district and in our clubs, leaders and mentors to us all. Thank you so much for everything you do to honor and empower women, not only in New York State and Canada, but all over the world. Have you ever seen so many women being honored and applauded everywhere these days? With the start of the hashtag #MeToo movement and the anniversary of the women's suffrage movement, as well as the Equal Rights Amendment, women are being featured and honored in almost every magazine, television series, and campaign trail imaginable. Should we sit back and gloat? Heck no, we still have lots to do, but we are being taken more seriously and things are improving. We've made a start, but it's only a start. When we have local boards, company CEOs, and politicians that are all women and no one bats an eye, then we'll have made some real progress. Diversity in all of these areas brings alternative points of view, leading to better solutions, and the easiest way to start accomplishing this is by electing women to company boards and political arenas. It wasn't until the 1970s that women finally realized that they could be political actors against candidates who ignored them. This was all a result of feminism and the movement of more women into the workplace. And in 1980, the famous gender gap emerged. For the first time, women voted in greater numbers and proportions than men, and they began to form blocs and to organize. Back then, just 56 women had served in the US Senate and 358 in Congress overall. However, as of April 2019, a record 131 women are serving in Congress, a woman wields the House Speaker's gavel, and more women than ever have announced plans to run for US President in 2020. We are definitely in a new era of women's engagement. We are in a historic era of change. Look, who was present at the Canadian Senate recently? Canadian Senator Dean acknowledges Zonta's 100th anniversary on Parliament Hill. The complete video coverage is available on your D2, District 2 YouTube channel on the Centennial playlist. It was a great honor. Passing the Paycheck Fairness Act is a critical step to closing the gender pay gap. The law includes key provisions that address loopholes in the Equal Pay Act of 1963, ensuring that employers pay women and men equally for equal work. Today, an average woman nationwide still makes just 80 cents for every dollar earned by men. Therefore, it takes until April for a woman's earnings to close the pay gap on the salary earned by men in the previous year. All Zontians are advocates, and we need to encourage and support these women's issues. District 2 is in New York and Canada. So why are we talking about Virginia? Fairfax County, Virginia, is the site of possibly the most significant moment in the fight for women's suffrage in the United States. In 1917, suffragists were imprisoned in the Occoquan workhouse for picketing the Woodrow Wilson White House for the right to vote. The reports of inhumane conditions, beatings, and force feedings at the workhouse electrified the country and became the turning point in the struggle for the right to vote. These women were jailed, some of them for 7 months. Their only crime was silently standing on the sidewalks, picketing in Washington, D.C. for the right to vote. This particular memorial, the Turning Point Memorial in Virginia, is designed to honor the lives of the suffragists who suffered for ratification of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The memorial honors the past and empowers the future, and we will be there. Our district is going to be honored on the memorial wall. I hope you will have an opportunity to visit the park in the near future. District 2 has a newly launched, now I'm moving on to the next point. The grand opening is in Virginia, and we were invited to be there. We spent $1,000 as part of our Centennial celebration to have our name engraved on the wall at this particular memorial. So I hope we all have a chance to go and visit this wonderful soon-to-be open museum. Okay, so now turning to the next point, I want to talk about our book blog. District 2 has a newly launched book blog, hard to say, on the district website. Feel free to visit the site for ideas or for sharing. I have posted some great woman reads and book talks there as well. And here's how you get there. We're going to show you. So you see our district website.
Log into the district website at www.zontadistrict2.org. When you log in, at the top, you will see a new item to our menu bar. It's between events and member resources, and it's called the book blog. On the book blog, you'll have your home and the latest reviews, and all past reviews are there. There's adult reader book lists that empower women. There's children's book lists, very helpful to Santa. There are images that you can use should you decide to do a service project in your own community about books that empower women and girls. And there also will be resources and websites that we like. If you have another one that you would like to share, please do comment. And you can also read a little bit about Governor Orton and why she chose to do this book blog. It's searchable, and you can share it on your social media as well. The links are little here, but you can email it to somebody, you can Facebook or Pinterest.
Move on to our conference video and flyer. I hope that everyone has October 18th to the 20th on your personal calendars. This is such a special Centennial conference. You won't want to miss it. Okay, look at a video.
Welcome to beautiful Lake Placid in the heart of the Adirondack Mountains. My name's Stuart Hemsley. I'm the husband of the current Vice President of Zonta Club of the Adirondacks, Petra Weber, and it's my pleasure to introduce the President of Zonta Club of the Adirondacks, my friend Amy Fisher-Quinn.
Thank you, Stuart. I'm standing here on the deck of the beautiful Best Western Adirondack Inn, the host hotel for the Zonta District 2 2019 conference. It's located right across the street from the beautiful Lake Placid Conference Center and Olympic Arena. We can't promise you that it won't be snowing in October, but we can promise you that you'll have lots of fun at the district conference.
Hi, I'm Gwen Bissonette. I'm the treasurer of the Zonta Club of the Adirondacks. Come join us in Lake Placid this October for the Centennial edition of the Zonta District 2 Conference.
I'm Susan Friedman, a member of Zonta, and it's time to build on our strengths and celebrate 100 years of optimism, imagination, and sisterhood, while meeting up with old friends and connecting with new ones from across the district.
I'm Chris Newcomb, Director at Large. We'll laud the women who have earned our district's highest scholarship honors, toast the accomplishments of our various clubs, and pay tribute to the Zonta sisters whom we have lost.
Petra Weber here, Vice President of our club, welcoming you to our conference in October, where you can be sure there will be tips, tricks, updates, laughs, and even a Centennial fashion show. We'll elect our leaders for the next biennium and pick up new bling at the Zonta store. So be there or be square.
You won't want to miss a conference so fabulous that it could only come along once every 100 years. So meet us right here and here in Lake Placid this October, where we stand on the precipice of potential and perspective and look forward to celebrating 100 years of Olympic efforts in raising the status of women and girls. Come join us as we kick off 100 more at least.
Thank you, Zonta Club of the Adirondacks. You can register on our district website under events. And I want to remind you that after September 1st, the price goes up to $240. Really, the best deal is to register for the 2.5 days. Friday evening, we begin with a moving opening ceremony, guest speakers, proclamations, and candidate speeches, as well as our special reception for Uta Schultz, our international rep. Friday afternoon, the Adirondack Club has organized a bus tour to several Olympic sites in the area and a stop at their beautiful club meeting site for an additional $15. On Saturday, we continue with the business of the district with elections, special luncheon, presentations, and we have a wonderful evening cocktail hour and banquet coupled with our fashion show of the decades. Sunday is our special memorial service for departed members. Again, presentations, awards, and closing ceremony with a light take-home snack for the road. Early bird registration runs through the end of August. And I can assure you, summer gets busy. I know it does. So it really is advantageous to sign up before that date. This is such a busy time of the year. We don't want anyone to miss it. After September 1st, the price goes to $240 from $225. Okay, that being said, a little bit about what happens at conference. I wanted to share with you, I'm planning to do a Stories from the Heart and a repurposed conference and convention bags. As you can see, there's a bag there. We're asking the members to bring along any old bags that they don't use from previous conferences or conventions, and a time to share with some of our newer members. Put in a little note about what happened or what was special for you during that time. And we're looking to collect at least 100 bags. So be sure to check your closets, your drawers, whatever, and bring them to the conference. The next one, I'm planning to write a Share Your Zonta story. And I know we all have stories. We all have been in for a long time, many of us. And even if you haven't, I'm sure you still have a story that you can share. And I'm asking you please to email a story to me during the month of June. Well, I'll even extend it a little longer since it's almost the end of June now. And I'm going to compile a district scrapbook, and I'm going to bring it to the October conference. And if I can get a good deal, who knows, I may have them available for other members. It's going to be a great sharing time. So I'm looking forward to hearing your stories. I already have about a dozen wonderful stories. Okay. Now, with the start, Happy New Year. Oh, Happy New Year. Yes, it's the start of our new year. Fiscal year begins on June 1. Just a reminder to clubs that our dues, here's a big one, our dues do not fund our international projects, but donations do. Oh, I see it. Donations can be sent to Zonta International to help support our international projects, which this biennium, early child marriage, Eid Be Eid or Hand in Hand, and Let Us Learn Madagascar. Clubs in the district should be donating 30% of their fundraising profits or 30% designated in their club budgets for this purpose to support our Zonta International service projects. Individual donations are most welcome as well. Chairman Mita R. Murray is glad to assist you, and her name is in our district website. You click on under committee chairman, and you can just click on that link, and it'll take you right to Mita's email. I want to report this because this was amazing. At the April 6th workshop, District 2 collected $1,215 from personal member donations, and the Syracuse Club gave the district a check for $1,000. So in total, we collected and we donated to Zonta International Foundation $2,215 as a district. Thank you so much to everyone for your generosity. Now we'd like to move on in this part of the webinar to some of our club committee and some of their reports. You know that in the district we have 3 basic standing committees. That is service, advocacy, and membership. And then each club may also have additional ad hoc committees. For example, this particular biennium, most clubs have a Centennial committee, or there may be something else. So we have different committees in each one of the clubs. So our Centennial update is Diane DeMayo from the Zonta Club of Utica. Now, is Diane on the webinar?
Yes. Yes, I'm here. I was trying to unmute myself.
Okay, great. So nice to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about our Centennial update, please?
Well, I have to admit I haven't done a whole lot of work. I'm this chair of the Utica Club Centennial team as well, so I've been focusing a lot on that. I do know that the torch ceremonies seem to be moving forward nicely. I just saw today the Rome Club is having their ceremony in July. Utica is in August, and then Utica will be passing the torch on to Syracuse in September. And then I believe it goes to the Elmira Club to bring to the conference.
Mhm.
So I know that aspect's happening. There is the whole story of the video, which maybe I don't know if Teresa, if you were going to talk more about that.
Begun thinking about them, and many clubs are well underway and some are completed. So no matter where you are, make sure you touch base with Diane or the webmaster if you need some help for video. What should you do? Well, we've all been looking at our archives in preparation for our Centennial over the last 7 years. So I know you have a good idea of what's important in your club's history. You'll make a narration of that, highlighting some of the important dates and times and awards, and you'll gather photos either from events, news clippings, artifacts, whatever you deem to be important that you want people looking at 100 years from now and say, oh, that's that club. And you may want to interview some members of your club, in which case you can film them. And there are tips on our D2 YouTube channel. You will see tips on making the most of those recordings. Then you bundle it all up and you send it to the person that you hired to edit your film if you don't have somebody already in your club who can do that. Who to hire? We have young people standing by ready to put together a very professional video for your club, in many cases as low as $150 to $200. So just let Diane know or click the email address for the webmaster committee.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. Diane, do you have anything else to add?
That's all.
The only other piece, and it sounded like, Irene, you had some information about that. Around the grant.
Yes.
I saw that you had an update about that.
Yes, I will just say that I did call International to find out because I knew they were working on them. And in fact, they told me that it's still in committee, but by now, I called a couple of weeks ago, that needed to go to the board for approval and that the monies would be, or people would be hearing about whether or not they received the grants by the end of June. So we're closing in on that, and hopefully we'll be hearing about it soon. So that's the only update I have at the moment. Do you have anything about the fashion show, Diane?
I don't. I know I had seen an email recently. Kim Snyder had sent our club president, and she forwarded it on to me.
Okay.
So I believe she has been sending information to club presidents about that. So I haven't really gotten a lot of information. It sounded like Kim was pretty much coordinating that.
Right. Well, I'll finish up. I'll tell you what I know about that. And also I had a question that came up about what were the grants about. And the grants were, I'll say that first, that the grants were offered. Zonta International in the Centennial year had put forth $500,000 for grants for clubs to submit an application, and it was a lengthy grant process that you had to write. So it's already done, and it had to be in the beginning of the year, and I think the end of March, and they have a committee that is going over them and reviewing them, and they will give up to, is it $3,000? Teresa, I don't know. I think it was $3,000 per club.
5,000.
Oh, 5,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Up to 5,000. You didn't have to ask for 5,000. You could have asked for $50 or 500. It didn't matter. As long as you partnered with another organization in your community. I think that truthfully, during this Centennial year, what Zonta International is trying to do is to spread the good news about Zonta. And how do we do that? Well, we want to partner with other like-minded organizations in our community, and everything that would go out in that project would have our emblem on it. So we'd be spreading the word about Zonta International and all of the good that we do. Not only do we do it through our service projects, our international service projects, but Zonta knows that each club, the 20 clubs in District 2, are putting forth a lot of money and effort into their communities. And so we're offering this grant money. We'll see. They will choose the ones that they think match and really work well with our mission. And we'll be hearing about that soon, by the end of April. So to answer your question, that's what the grants are about. A little late right now to apply for one, but many of our clubs did apply, and I'm really looking forward to hear if we received any monies.
Yeah, I think there were about 5 or 6 clubs in the district that submitted applications.
Okay. Out of 20. So, I guess I'm thankful for 5 or 6. Would have been nice if we had 19 or 20, but that's okay. It was an arduous task, I know, but I appreciate the efforts, and I do sincerely hope that everybody will reap some benefit from that. As far as the fashion show, there was a sign up, and I know that Kim sent it around, 2 clubs per decade, and she wants it to be fun and light. She has the music for it. She sent out, there's a video, a YouTube video that shows a woman getting dressed, and we showed it at the workshop, of this woman getting dressed in the different decades, so you can get an idea of what was popular back then. So the idea is for the 2 clubs doing each decade, you have 2 models that'll come up, and they will model it. And I'm not looking for, or she's not looking for, the perfect model. We're looking to have fun with it. For example, if let's just say you were 50s or 60s, I don't know which decade it was, you might come out with a hula hoop and tell a story about it, or have some sort of some little description. So she would like to keep it light and fun. So that's the way that's working. Some of the clubs have decided that the entire club would dress in that decade. So for example, I know Glens Falls, we're the 1990s. Plaid shirts might be in order, and maybe we'll all come in plaid shirts. I don't know, and comfortable jeans and combat boots. I don't know. But so that's what I know about the fashion show, and I'm sure we'll be hearing a little bit more about that too. But thank you, Diane. If there's any more you want to add, feel free.
Okay, well, thank you. I don't think so at the moment, but if I think of something, I'll chime in. Thank you.
Sure. All right, and now our next speaker, somebody to talk to us a little bit about service, Patricia Poland. Is Patricia on the call?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
All right. In terms of our district service project, Irene and I had talked, and our theme overall is empower through literacy as far as a district-wide service project. And it's actually not a single project, but rather use that theme of empower through literacy and decide what works best for your own club. For example, there's one of the Syracuse club already has a project that one of their partner organizations has been Girls Inc. and the YWCA. And what they do is they select books that are age appropriate for girls in the program, and each girl receives a book from Zonta that is in fact specific to their reading levels. The other suggestion is taking advantage of the ideas that appear on the book blog. And with those ideas, you can decide, for example, that within your own club, you can initiate a type of book club discussing one of the titles that appeared there on the book blog. In addition to that, those suggestions could also be used so that the Zonta Club or a Z Club could create a library with those books and make it a mobile library offered to perhaps a domestic violence shelter or a summer camp. Another suggestion was that you could check at your local library and see whether the library itself would be amenable to having some books selected and given to the library as gifts that are designed to be empowering to young girls. As you know, there's loads and loads of books out there now. I myself had the pleasure of going down to the UN right after the Women's Commission meeting, and the selection of books that's there was amazing as far as a lot of titles that young girls would enjoy reading. And again, you'll see in the newsletter, there is a link that I provided as far as picture books that seek to empower and encourage girls. I know our club for years actually has been doing having free books available at a shelter for the homeless, that like every 2 months. We have a supply of books that we've received through another program called Grassroots Givers, but I'm going to be asking my members if we can in fact purchase some very specific ones to have available to the mothers and girls there that are more oriented toward empowering them, because certainly those who are homeless really could use some empowerment. The other thing to be aware of is, in talking with Irene, with so many things coming up for the Centennial, that we were not looking at the district conference to do a service project per se at that conference, but rather the clubs can report and share the things that they have done as far as examples of empowerment through literacy. And that sharing can happen either at the conference or even just through our newsletters, so that other clubs know what's happening. But I think it's really important for us to work toward empowering our women and girls, and one of the best ways to do this is making use of resources that are available. Thanks, Irene.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Patricia. I just want to add too, I always have to add, right? But I found this fabulous book the other day, and it was in Walmart, and it's called What is the Women's Rights Movement? It cost $5. It's put out by Penguin, by the Penguin publisher, and it is fantastic. I wish everybody in our organization had this book. It's geared for you know, middle schoolers or young high schoolers, but oh my gosh, it talks to all the issues that we certainly, women at work, victory at last, women in the war. It goes up to, you know, Hillary Clinton, lots of good information. So anyway, more information about that. But thanks, Patricia, for helping us out with that service project. Now, scholarships. We're moving on to scholarships. And I know that people are wondering where to go or how to find out about them. I mean, is your club leaving money on the table? We have money available and we get it from International. So, for example, the Jean M. Kuhn, excuse me, not the Jean M. Kuhn, the Jane Klausman. The chairman is Karen Macier, and she is sending information to me, and and monies will be provided from International for these people. So like the Klausman is $2,000. If I get one nominee, that one person will get $2,000. So, we're 20 clubs. So, a little competition here, but you're leaving money on the table if you don't apply or if you don't have some young person to apply. The a Women in Technology is a brand new award that was created for the second half of the biennium. So that means this year will be the first one. So district clubs, again, $2,000 award, and it's part of the Centennial celebration. We're now accepting those applications, and the date to have it to me, first you go to our, we have a district person, Tammy Alowski, and she will forward them to me by August the 1st. Well, District 2, she wants it by, the district will make a decision by August 1st. July 1st is when they need to forward their applications to the district. Okay, I'm sorry, it's a little confusing, but we have chairman for all these committee scholarships, and then it comes to me so that I send it into International. So it's, even though the date may be August 1st, you have to really check our district website. So that deadline is July 1st. What else do we have? It's too late now for the Young Women in Public Affairs. That was due in May, but again, at the district level, $1,500. If we have only one person, that one person will get it. So, there's lots of money out there. We're not asking each club to put out money, although I know many of you do, and you give local scholarships and you give some, but you also, these don't cost the clubs anything. So it behooves you to really look into these awards and scholarships. Okay, we got that one. Now I think it's time to hear from our membership chairman, that is Lieutenant Governor Teresa Harris.
Well, thank you, Governor Orton. And we have some exciting membership committee news today, because hot off the presses, Zonta International has released the recognition program for the convention that will be held in Chicago, Illinois in July of 2020. I'm going to tell you about it today. I'm going to use two terms, R&R and conversion or convert. Now, R&R does not mean rest and relaxation in this instance. It's just kind of a term that I coined to mean recruited and retained. And what we mean by that is somebody who joins Zonta in the biennium. They were recruited in the biennium, so their join date is in the time period of the biennium. And they also pay membership dues the following year. That means they came back. So they were recruited and they were retained. Conversion or a convert. No, this is not a religious experience. Rather, this is someone who joins the Zonta Club with a past. What kind of a past? Well, specifically, if they were a Zonta Award winner, either at the club, district, or international level in their past, or if they were a former Z or Golden Z Club member, then they would be starting with Zonta with a past. Now, all this information is coming through to everyone, and it will be available on the ZI website. It looks like this. It's 4 pages long, I believe, several anyhow, and I'm going to summarize it for you here today. Now, what the program is it celebrates certain achievements throughout the biennium. You could think of it as a report card. And who gets one? Well, They're issued on the personal level, club, and district. And when all three of these entities do well, then Zonta International does well. Now let's look at them individually. Personal membership recognition. There are two parts. If you're a person who brings in 10 or more new members to Zonta, who join either your club or any other club in the world, you will be recognized as an outstanding personal member. An exciting new addition to the personal membership recognition category for this convention is recognition of anyone who brings in enough new people to their own club that it actually increases the membership count by 40%. Now, just a reminder, the biennium starts June 1st, 2018, and runs all the way through May of 2020. However, for convention recognition purposes, please note that we are only looking at activity up to and including April 30th, 2020. Now, you could do something wonderful in the month of May, and that will be recognized in the convention after the upcoming one. So you have to wait 2 years. So let's focus on getting everything in by April 30th. Here's an example of a 40% increase. Let's say my club has 7 members at the end of the last biennium. A 40% increase would bring us to 10. You can't have 8/10 of a person, so I had to round it up. Okay, so that's a difference of 3. If I sponsor 3 new members who join my club, giving my club a 40% increase, I will also be recognized as an outstanding Zonta member in the membership category. So that's personal recognition. Now let's talk about club membership recognition. Again, the dates still June 1, 2018 through April 30, 2020. Here are the 5 things that will be recognized at the club level. Every new club chartered during these dates and their sponsoring, organizing, or mentoring club will be recognized. Every club who works for and achieves a net gain of 30% membership will be recognized at the convention. Every club with 5 or more young professionals that join their club during the biennium will be recognized at convention. Every club with 5 or more converts who join their club during the biennium by April 30th will be recognized at the convention. And my personal favorite, every club who starts a Z or a Golden Z, so it has to be chartered between the months June 1st, 2018 through April 30, 2020. District membership recognition. Again, the dates, June 1, 2018 through April 30, 2020. I'm hoping I'm starting to sound a little bit like a broken record. I don't want anyone to say, hey, we put our new members in on the second week of May. Why weren't we recognized at the convention? It's because recognition for membership, it ends on the 30th of April. Okay, so what gets recognized at the district level? As in the past, every district that charters 2 or more new clubs gets recognized. District 2 was recognized at the last convention in Japan for having 2 new clubs. Then they'll be looking at the top 5 districts in the following categories. The top 5 with the highest percentage of growth. The top 5 who charter the most Z or Golden Z clubs. And I know we have lots of clubs talking about getting a Z or Golden Z chartered this biennium. This is the time to do it. They just need to be chartered before April 30th. So let's get busy and let's try to be number one. The top 5 districts with the most converts, that's people who join us with a past history with Zonta, and the top 5 districts with the highest percentage of growth of young professional membership. That would be any member who joins Zonta who is of the age 29 or less. Once they hit 30, they no longer qualify for young professional membership. So as long as they are 29 or less when they submit their application and pay their dues, and you submit their dues, then that counts. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the recognition program. I encourage you to continue to share Zonta everywhere you go with everyone you see who might be a good member for Zonta, and Zonta would be good for them. Seems to me that everybody always asks the same 2 questions. How much of my time will it take to be a member of Zonta? And, you know, even in the busiest of clubs, if out of 365 days, you can show up 10 times, that's a pretty good attendance record. The second question they always ask is, how much of my treasure will it cost me to join Zonta? How much does it cost to join Zonta? Well, when you join Zonta, you join 3 entities, International District and your club. International dues are the same for everyone. District dues are the same for everyone. Club dues vary. And even if you are in the most expensive club of our district, you can say with confidence when someone asks you this question that it costs less than 50 cents a day, 50 cents a day to be a member of Zonta. Happy sponsoring, everybody, and thanks for all your hard work and everything that you do to advance the status of women and empower women around the world. I look forward to seeing each of you at the conference in beautiful Lake Placid in October, and also in celebrating all of your membership achievements on the individual level, the club level, and the district level when we're all together in Chicago for the 2020 Centennial Convention.
Okay, well, thank you, Teresa. You've given us some goals to try to achieve here. And now I'm going to I'm going to do the advocacy for our district. And at the workshop, I did something about child marriage, because that is Zonta International and Suzanne von Basowitz. This is their big service project and initiative for this biennium, is ending child marriage. So as you can see, I chose to speak to you tonight regarding Zonta International's 2018-2020 strategy to end violence against women, specifically ending child marriage. The overall objective of this $2 million funding is that only a long-term strategy will ensure the desired outcomes, and this multi-year program seeks to promote the right of girls to delay marriage, address the conditions that keep the practice in place, and provide care for girls who are already married. Zonta supports changing marriage laws so that the minimum age for marriage is 18 years old, period. No exceptions. Child marriage is a global violation of human rights that can be found in cultures, religions, ethnicities, and countries around the world. Recognizing that only a long-term strategy will ensure the desired outcomes, UNICEF and United Nations Population Fund, or UNFPA, have joined forces and formally launched a multi-country initiative to protect the rights of millions of the world's most vulnerable girls. The global program to accelerate action to end child marriage brings together governments, civil society, families, and young people in a collective effort to prevent girls from marrying too young and to support those already married as girls. I offer to you today the data that is specific to the United States, because many people feel that it is only happening in developing countries in the world. Not so. The United States has the highest incidence of early child marriage. Yes, girls and women in many communities in the United States often are pressured, tricked, threatened, or beaten until they agree to wed. And girls and women who face little or no choice when they enter a marriage typically face the same if they want to leave it. If they're younger than 16, which is a common age of sexual consent, the fact is that that child marriage legalizes statutory rape. If they try to run away, they are often apprehended and they're sent back to live in that same abusive environment. Due to their age, they cannot vote, they can't sign a contract, they can't sign a lease on an apartment, they can't buy a car, they can't buy a house, they can't open a bank account, and they couldn't even toast themselves at their own wedding. While marriage for children under the age of 15 is rare, about only 5% of the child marriages studied, they still accounted for more than 1,000 marriages in the United States. The biggest concern for minors, according to Jean Smoot, an attorney with the Tahari Justice Center, an organization that provides legal assistance to girls and women who are victims of violence, the same acts that would be statutory rape outside of the marriage are made lawful within the marriage. Often these young brides are stymied by religious laws and social customs that make divorce seem impossible. Unchained at Last is the only nonprofit in the United States dedicated to helping women and girls leave or avoid arranged or forced marriages and to rebuild their lives. Unchained also is the only nonprofit in the United States dedicated to creating social policy and legal change to end forced and child marriage in America. Unchained at Last is recognized by the IRS as a 501c3 tax-exempt organization. Now, just listen to these facts. In the United States, the numbers of states prohibiting marriage until age 18 has gone down by 2. No one wants to take it on. Marriage before 18 is still legal in 48 states in the United States. Women in the United States are being forced to marry men overseas so they can come into our country. Parents are often the perpetrators. According to the Beijing Accord, we were supposed to end child marriage by 2030. Approximately 248,000 children, some as young as 12, were married in the United States between 2000 and 2010. I encourage you all to visit the TEDx Foggy Bottom Talks by Frady Rice, which I have included, which I have included in your folder today. I had it at the workshop. I can put that up on I can send it to you if you'd like to see the website. She spoke to us at the UN. I was there. She's very powerful and an emotional speaker on the topic of early marriage. She herself was a victim, and she's from Brooklyn, New York. While states are considering whether or not to raise the legal age for marriage to 18, there is good news. Child marriage is on the decline in the United States. However, child marriage is not on the decline for all girls everywhere. In conflict areas like Syria and Jordan, child marriage is spiking for young girls. Well, what are the consequences of female child marriage? 70 to 80% of them have a chance of getting divorced. They're 3 times more likely to be beaten by their spouse than those who marry at 21 or older. 50% are more likely to drop out of high school, 4 times less likely to complete college, and 23% at a greater risk of disease onset, including heart attack, diabetes, cancer, and stroke. There are higher rates of sexually transmitted infections, and divorced teen mothers are more likely to end up living in poverty than teen mothers who did not marry. All of this data comes from Frontline, Child Marriage in America by the Numbers. So how is Zonta helping? Zonta International has committed $2 million to UNICEF USA to support the UNICEF/UNFPA global program to accelerate action to end child marriage in 12 countries. The program is turning commitment into tangible action to affect meaningful and lasting change in girls' lives by focusing on 5 main strategies. Number 1, building the skills and the knowledge of girls at risk of child marriage. Number 2, supporting households in demonstrating positive attitudes toward adolescent girls. Some of them think that's the only thing that girls were meant to do, is to be born and then get married. Number 3, strengthening the systems that deliver services to adolescent girls. 4, ensuring that laws and policies protect and promote adolescent girls' rights. Number 5, generating and using robust data to inform programs and public policies relating to adolescent girls. Under the umbrella of these 5 main strategies, each country will have specific strategies that respond to the context and the factors that lead girls into early marriage. Well, what are the expected outcomes? Number 1, national laws, policy frameworks, and mechanisms to protect and promote adolescent girls' rights are in line with international standards and properly resourced. Number 2, government and partners within and across countries support the generation and the use of robust data and evidence to inform policy and programming, track progress, and document lessons. Number 3, relevant regional and local government ministries deliver quality and cost-effective services to meet the needs of adolescent girls. 4, households demonstrate positive attitudes and behaviors toward investing in and supporting adolescent girls. 5, adolescent girls at risk of or affected by child marriage are better able to express and exercise their choices. From the UN discussion that I attended, there are laws on the books, but they're not being enforced. Some countries don't even have birth certificates. They only guess at a girl's age. Families and girls only know that they want to get married. Families and religious institutions support early marriage before a girl becomes sexually active, etc. You must remember that early child marriage is a human rights abuse. Unchained@last.org. You can go there for further information on this organization and what they are doing right here in the United States. For me, it was a real eye-opener. We need to contact our local and US senators and congressmen to change these laws. You know, with judges' approval and parents' approval. If you're 16 or 17, well, oh yeah, you can get married. They may say 18, but there are many loopholes in a lot of these states. Almost all the evidence indicates that girls in cities, they don't get married, in cities that the girls don't get married young, that girls from middle class or wealthy families don't get married young. Nicholas Syret, author of American Child Bride, which is a history of minors and marriage in the United States, told Frontline, and he continues, this is a rural phenomenon, and it's a phenomenon of poverty. And although New Jersey and New Hampshire turned down bans on child marriage this year, Texas and New York passed landmark laws to raise the minimum age to 18, with exceptions for minors age 17. Even more hopeful, Pennsylvania and Massachusetts are considering completely raising the age of marriage to 18 with no loopholes at all. In New Hampshire, the age which you may get married without parental consent are 14 for males and 13 for females. As of January 1, 2019, the absolute minimum was finally set at 16. In Kansas and Massachusetts, the age for marriage with consent is 14 for males and 12 for females. Consent of both parents or with judicial consent often is in the case of pregnancy. As of January 2019, only 2 states in the United States, Delaware and New Jersey, have completely banned child marriage. I bring these facts to you here tonight because so often we in the United States think that we're only talking about countries like Kenya, India, and Afghanistan when we talk about early child marriage and the complexities and the problems associated with it. I hope that you better understand now that this is definitely an issue right here in the US of A. The US of A. And I thank you very much for listening about advocacy. So after that tough one, I know, right? It's amazing. These facts are just amazing.
Hard to stomach. It really is.
I know. I know.
Your presentation is such an eye-opener, and it begs the question, what are we doing as Zonta clubs? Are we sitting on our hands? What are we doing about this? And I know that there's one person on this call today who got on a plane and went all the way to Vienna to be at that conference that our Zonta International president was at, and that's Lauren McGuire from the Zonta Club of Skinny Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that everybody gets busy and it's not about the bake sales, ladies. It's about the advocacy. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm. Letting other people know, letting our senators, letting our representatives in Congress, letting them know that it's not right. We don't want to hear it. And this Unchained, they go to different state government places dressed in bridal gowns with masking tape on their faces and chained and whatever, and they're trying to really, they protest, and they're doing a lot to try to bring it to light, as is Zonta. And there was a lot of discussion at the UN this year about this issue, for sure. This is Suzanne von Bausowitz's big thing, because as these girls get married at such a young age, and you know, many times they're, you know, they're planned marriages that the families have produced or whatever. The girls, the main thing is that these girls are not getting an education. There's no, they have to drop out of school, and they really would like to continue with school. They want to do that. So it's, yeah, it's a tough issue.
And then there are babies having babies.
Yeah.
It's just complex. It's just complex.
Yeah, it's really horrific. Anyway.
Well, thank you for that.
Okay.
And now I'll go back to our slides share.
Okay.
If I can.
I know. I don't know my.
Here we go.
All right. So.
Oh, we already said Z and Golden Z. Move faster.
Right. You've got to get moving quicker. I've heard about some clubs. I've heard that that clubs are in the process, but I haven't received any paperwork on any new ones. And we're halfway through the biennium, so got to get those running shoes on. All right. Now, next up in tonight's webinar is Deb Otlowski from our nominating committee, chairman of the nominating committee. And Deb, do you have anything you want to share with everybody or say?
I just want to make sure, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Good, okay. Just want to give a shout out to everybody to remind them that we are getting close to the end of our time when we will be looking at candidates for our nominating slate. We still have some openings. I've reached out to many people, as my committee has, Marjorie Lavin, Colleen Anderson, and we do have a number of people already ready to go, but we would really like possibly 2 candidates on a slate for a position, if that were possible. And we are, again, still looking for several of the area directors. Please, out there, folks, if you are interested, please give us an email or a call. If someone out there knows someone is interested and perhaps they don't want to step up, or they're a little shy, whatever, please call me and I will reach out, or Marjorie or Colleen will. It's an honor to serve Zonta in any which way, whether you're a committee chair at the club level, at the district level. It's a wonderful thing to be part of such a great international organization, as well as a wonderful club or a wonderful district in Canada, in New York. And to serve is truly an honor. And just don't forget, please answer my phone calls and my emails, and please consider and think about it. And that's all I have to say, Irene.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you. And now I don't know if we have, is Gloria McClear. She is the district treasurer. And if Gloria is on the webinar, do you have anything that you'd like to share with the clubs?
Hi, this is Gloria. One of the things Teresa touched upon earlier is our dues. I still have like 5 groups, clubs that have not submitted their dues. And the thing to remember is the deadline is really June 1st. And the thing is with your club dues is kind of like trying to establish your budget at home, right? It's your paycheck. This is our district's paycheck. So we need to know what we truly have for members at the district level, because we now have to start working on establishing our new biennium's budget. So just a plug for dues, please. The other thing is, I don't know, yeah, there we go, is at the workshop I spoke about budgeting. So I'll just do this from a elevator speech. Your budget is kind of like your personal budget, right? At home, you need to have a budget. The thing is at the club levels, you need to have 2 budgets, right? One is just your administrative general fund. And then you have your service fund, and that's the one that you do fundraising, right? Your general fund is basically made up of your dues. unless you do any little fundraising, perhaps, like I know, for example, like at our dinners, we'll do like an auction, a silent auction or something like that. But typically your administrative fund is for like your postage, post office box. Perhaps you want to send delegates to a conference. Office supplies, that type of thing falls under your general fund. Your service fund, again, like I say, is pretty much made up of your fundraising. And that would be like where you donate to Zonta International your 33%. Perhaps you have like scholarships or local fundraising, local requests, we call them. The one thing I do want to mention though is that if you want to designate funds, right, you can only move monies from your general fund to your project fund. You can't move it in the opposite direction, I guess is what I want to say. So that's one thing to remember. Yep, there we go. I can't think of anything else. Oh yes, there is a sample if you want to use something like this for your budget. If you want something like this, you can either email me, or there is one also out on the ZI website. But again, if you need some help, you can reach out and I'd be more than happy to help you. That's all I have.
Great, thank you, Gloria. Appreciate that. Yep, it's that time of the year, that Mountain Dew time, huh?
Yep.
And next up, if Kathleen LaBelle, former governor of District 2, if you have something to tell us about leadership.
I do.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. First thing, I want to repeat what Deb told us about serving on district level in different capacities. It really is an honor. And trust me, it's fun. It is the honor, and you'll make forever friends. It's a wonderful thing. So if you're offered the opportunity to serve, please do it. I want to talk to you just very briefly about our Leadership Development Committee. We intend by July 1st, or very close to it, to have a new video coming out for you to watch on our YouTube channel. During August, we plan to be doing a president's training, and it will be done by Zoom again, so that you can be in the comfort of your own home. We'd like to have new presidents, midterm presidents, vice presidents, all take advantage, because we all know how important succession planning is. The third thing on my list is that we would like to welcome a few new members to our committee. The criteria is not a very long list. We're looking, first of all, of course, for someone that's dedicated to our mission. We would like to have people that either have some leadership skills or would like to improve their leadership skills. This is the perfect way to do it. And we would hope that you be comfortable with video, IT, that type of thing. So if you've got a pen there, let me give you my phone number. It's 518-744-7191. I know Irene will be thinking, Kathleen, tell them to look it up. But it's important for you to be able to just put your fingers on that phone number, then put your fingers on the little push buttons on your phone and give me a call. We'd love to welcome you. That's it. That's all I've got. I also want to say how great our technology is now. There was a time, and it was not all that long ago, where if you missed a workshop, you were just out of luck. And now here we are, where you're getting the information. It may not be quite as exciting as it was in person, with all the vibes and the energy coming from others, but the Zoom and Irene and Teresa's dedication just make everything possible to us. And I think we need to thank them for that. And that's all I've got. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. I did have one request, and someone asked if, could you repeat the phone number, please, for people?
Oh, gladly. It's 518-744-7191. And if I don't answer, please leave a voicemail, and you can be very sure that I'll get back to you.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Kathleen.
You're
I
welcome.
really appreciate that. Now, I'd like to go on. Do you know who Mary E. Jenkins is? If not, you will shortly. Marjorie had slides prepared, and I know that I'm not sure what her slides presentation was, but can I see them, Teresa? Okay, okay. I will just tell you that. Okay, the Mary E. Jenkins is, she was a pioneer in every way. And in 1903, she became the owner and the president of the Syracuse Herald, which was a powerful position in almost exclusively, in an exclusively male industry. And 16 years later, she helped to found one of the 9 original Zonta clubs and became the first president of the Confederation of Zonta Clubs. So in order to honor her achievements, the Mary E. Jenkins 1919 Society was established for Zontans who are wishing to leave a legacy gift to ensure Zonta's future. Well, you might ask, what is a legacy gift? It's a planned gift. It is a provision to leave part of your estate to the Zonta International Foundation. It can be a bequest of a specific amount, a percentage of your assets. It could be a life insurance policy, stocks, annuities, or any other financial instruments. And everyone who informs Zonta International of their provision of this kind will become a member of the Mary E. Jenkins 1919 Society. There is a form that you can fill out to complete this gender legacy, and you can choose and fill it out. And I know that Marjorie Lavin would be very happy to meet with you, meet with your clubs to talk more about it, or any other information that you might wish to know about Mary E. Jenkins. Okay, I think you've got, do we go through her slides? And so clubs can do it and individuals can do it. You can leave, 2% in your wills. Some people have wills. Some people have life insurance policies. They may choose to leave their legacy that way.
Club can invite her to come and speak at a meeting, or she could prepare a PowerPoint or video for your meeting. If you wish. So this is an important thing for all of us to consider at our meetings.
Absolutely. Okay, so anyway, I'd like to just say thank you all for joining me this evening as we recapped the important events for District 2. We also, I think everybody should have gotten today in their emails the latest newsletter. So be sure to catch up on all the latest details via that medium as well. Please don't hesitate to call me, email me, text me with any questions or concerns that you might have. I know it's been a very busy first year and there's been a lot of information to absorb. I appreciate your participation and your willingness to step up and learn more about Zonta. And as J.K. Rowling said, anything's possible if you've got enough nerve. Sometimes that's all it takes. So enjoy your summer, and I look forward to an exciting Centennial conference with everyone very shortly. That's all for the planned webinar, but I don't know if we have time. If anybody has any questions, I've been seeing a few down at the bottom of my screen, but if you have something that you'd like to ask, now would be the time, I guess. Teresa, do we have a few minutes?
Yes, we do. It is now 8:20. So if anybody has a question, this would be a great time. We actually had a couple of people. I see we have Cheryl Davis join us. Thank you, Cheryl. Some people did write in some questions. And one of the questions, if you have that list handy, Governor Irene, one of the questions was, how can I get some help and instruction on maintaining my club website? Well, just hit the, just go to our district webpage, and go to committees, and you'll see webmaster. Just click that and tell them you need some help, and they will get it to you. Another question came in on the video due next month, and I think we answered that. Help with member retention.
I think a really important thing is to have planned meeting times and have guest speakers. Make your meetings fun. Why would I want to get dressed and go to a meeting if it was just going to be a little clique and people are just going to sit in their own little groups? I think, you know, you think about your meetings. We're coming up to summer, and this is a good time. We might take a little breather, but plan activities for the coming year, or help your presidents with that, perhaps. I think retention is, you know, we want to be kind to one another. We want to be friendly. We want to include everyone, not be exclusive, and not, you know, we want to be nice to one another. I think that's really critical. Or calling somebody who hasn't shown up. You know, oh, they really care about me. They called me. They wanted to know why I wasn't there. So it's those basic skills, but that can be very helpful. And sometimes we get busy and wrapped up in the business of Zonta, and we forget about those other people-pleasing skills and things that we really, every once in a while, need a reminder. So that's my 2 cents.
Social aspects too. What do you think about having everybody have a job in the club?
Oh, perfect. Absolutely. Especially new members, that as soon as they come in, you know, you want to, you know, have a mentor for them, somebody they can talk to, but getting people involved right away is a good thing. And a lot of times new people are afraid to raise their hand maybe and say, oh, I want to do this or that. But I think, you know, if you ask them, it takes a personal ask. So yeah, new people, definitely. You want to get them involved right away.
Okay. Another question was about gender diversity and how Zonta welcomes all genders, whether they're male, female, used to be male, now female, used to be female, now male. I guess we have room for everyone, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. And there was a new policy that came out from Zonta International regarding gender equality. So you should really be looking at that. I did bring it, I mentioned it, and I talked about it, I think at the workshop and perhaps in the newsletter. I can't remember right now if it's in the newsletter or not, but it definitely is out there. And we have men in many of our clubs too. So being sensitive to that and not always saying, you know, our sisterhood, you know, because we do have clubs that have males, and that's important to include them as well.
That's true. And the last question that I have so far in our last 5 minutes, it says, how to better engage in all meaningful advocacy activities. And I think we touched upon a big important topic tonight. I think we hit it pretty hard on the childhood marriage, ending early child marriage. What would be some activities? You spoke about dressing up in bride costumes with tape on our mouth and be a visible sight, but maybe somebody else has another idea as well. And certainly writing to our government.
Right. And I've heard some other good programs, and those are, involving guest speakers, of course, to your club, perhaps might be another way. But there's another program, it's called Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. And they have men, it might be the police force in your town, or some other male club or whatever, and they wear these shoes, and there are cards and situations, what it's like to be in a trafficked situation, or in a we sometimes forget, and it's just basically, walking in someone else's shoes. You don't know where people are coming from. You don't know their backgrounds. And so any of those kinds of programs that bring light to those issues, I think, are important. I don't know, maybe somebody else has some other ideas. I don't have them all. We're a club of, an organization of 20 clubs, and there must be some other ideas out there that maybe we could share.
Well, I know advocacy is so important that we actually have
Right.
2 committee chairs, one for each country that our district is in.
Yes.
That
And
might be a good central post to share ideas.
Yes.
As well.
And our new,
Every year, particularly Centennial. Deborah is raising her hand.
oh, Deborah.
Deborah, go ahead and unmute. Go ahead, Deborah.
Hi, my question is to the district scholarships chairs. Is it possible for them to reach out to the presidents to let us know if they have not received scholarship applications for that particular scholarship from our club?
Your club president would know if they sent them.
Well, they aren't being sent by the club president. They're being sent by scholarship people. And if there's a disconnect and something has not been received, I would certainly like to know about it.
Mm. I think that right there, I think as a president, you need to be in direct communication with your committee chairs, particularly that particular one. Because you're a working team, and we do that at the district level. So I think at the club level, the president and the committee chairperson, and oftentimes applications ask for presidents. Certainly you should be in communication with your scholarship chairperson.
Well, I certainly think I am, but like I said, if there's a disconnect, I'd like a safety net, but we'll work on that internally.
I know it's really difficult. I might add, not that I don't want to help everybody, but as a governor, there are so many things that I have to do. I'm working every day, till at least noon or 1, and I'm just, it's really hard to even maintain and do what I do right now. But, if you're really stuck, give me a call. I don't want to say no to anybody.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. I know you would. I know you'd be there. You've always been there for me. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Can I interject a minute? This is Betty.
Yes, Betty.
I just want to say that for the Jean M. Kuhn as district chair, I sent notices to all the presidents and to the scholarship chair as well. So all presidents should have received the emails about that scholarship.
Right. Thank you, Betty. I know you did. And I have to say, I know for a lot of people, we get a lot of email in our mailboxes. And it's unfortunate, but I don't know how else to disseminate information and communicate with everybody. I know we have Facebook. I know we have other social media places, and oftentimes, to tell you the truth, picking up the telephone. I think today we get bombarded with so many emails that maybe picking up the telephone and going back to speaking to somebody it might also be helpful and be a quicker way to get some information. So don't be afraid to talk to people. I like to talk to people. I'll answer you.
I wonder what we could do from a technology point of view. Maybe we could put something on the website, like a checkbox for all 20 clubs. And as the applications come in, put a check mark up there so people could look at it, like a link to a living document that you could check at any time. Would that answer your query, Deborah?
I think that would be very nice. Yes.
That's what you're looking for. Okay, I'll look into that for you, for all of us, because yes, no one wants to leave the money on the table.
We all want to. We don't want to oversee too closely. We don't want to oversee our committee chair people and be on their back all the time.
Right.
Did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it? So I was kind of looking for a backdoor way to be a control person.
Ah. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's on the agenda at the meetings as well.
Excuse me, I just had a question from Esther, and I'm sorry, I don't know. Do you know that is your email address correct? I mean, why wouldn't you receive, maybe I can ask our IT person, Esther Zorn. From what club are you, Esther?
I'm Syracuse, and my email was incorrect on the international level for a while, but we corrected it. So now I'm not getting anything from, I don't know, from you. I didn't get anything. I don't know.
To be sure that you're getting the district communications, go on the district website and click under About Us, receive our newsletter, and that will keep you on everything for the district.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good. Okay, so I guess we're at the end, unless there's another burning question. Or you can always email me, after this webinar. And again, I thank you so much for tuning in. And maybe next time I can do a song or a dance for you. No, I'm only kidding. I look forward to seeing you all and having I hope you all have a good summer and relax, take a few breathers, but just short ones.
We'll see everybody in October.
Yes, if not before. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.